The World Health Organization is attempting to take control of the world. Don't know if you're aware of that. They want control, they want sovereignty from all nations, including the United States. And today we are going to talk about it. Now, I have some videos to share with you because in these matters, I like to let the experts speak about what is going on. Okay, so here is the first
The
video.
WHO is able to call the shots if there's any health emergency or potential health emergency anywhere in the world. And the language that says that they have to have the permission of the country is stricken so that they can do it without the permission of the country. And it's not only about human health. They have something called One Health, which means that they can do it on behalf of human health, animal health, plant health, the environment. They can use any reason that they want to be able to come in and basically run the show in terms of addressing that health issue.
Soak that up, okay? Soak all that in, okay? You can pause and replay so you can hear what she is saying, all right? Revelation 13, that's what this is all about. There will be a one world government system, there will be a one world religious system. Revelation 13, verse 7. Verse 7, it reads, "It was granted to him to make war with the saints and to overcome them." So the Antichrist is going to make war with the saints because the saints will oppose him. The saints will know and understand that he is the false Christ. He is the Antichrist. And we are not going to worship him. We're not going to give him the time of day. It goes on to say, and authority was given him over every tribe, tongue, and nation, and who dwell on earth will worship. All who dwell on earth will worship him, whose names have not been written in the book of life of the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world. So he will have authority over every tongue, every tribe, every nation. It's going to be a one world government. And the Biden administration is pushing for this. They are globalist. They want a one world system. They don't care about what you think, they don't care about your feelings. This is why it is important and for you to understand why it's important who you vote for in office, who's in Congress, who's in the Senate, who's in the White House, who is representing you. Because we, the people, should have the loudest voice when it comes to the government. We should have the most powerful voice when it comes to the government because we are the ones, supposedly, are the ones who puts them there. But we don't understand the importance of our votes. So now they get in office and they do what they want to do because we don't have a voice. We don't want to lend our voice. We don't realize how much power we have. But he wants to give all authority to the World Health Organization. So let me play the next video.
So that we can give full sovereignty over health care to the United Nations organization, World Health Organization. What this would do, as my brother Jimmy Evans said, this would create a platform for the first time in history, a legal platform for one world government. And one person, the Director General, a man named Tedros, would have the authority over all 194 nations on earth, and he could declare an emergency He could restrict our right to travel. He could mandate vaccines or treatments or lockdowns, and we would have no right of appeal. And it's our government, the Biden government, that is leading this aggressive effort to give up power to the UN. Once you give up American power to the UN, it's very difficult to get it back. And that's slated to happen the last week of May in Geneva, Switzerland.
Okay, so let's recap. They want full control over World Health protocols. All protocols when it comes to health for the entire world, they want full control of everything. They want full control. Biden has taken us back to the World Health Organization, and we have become a cash cow. We are paying upwards of $600 million to be a part of this organization, to have membership. It's like 22% of your gross GDP or something like that. All nations have to pay. Well, we understand that the United States is always paying a lot more than everyone else because we're at the top. Our economic revenue is very high. And then those that don't even meet their percentage, we pretty much, we like fill in the gaps, right? We're like Aflac, okay? We subsidize for everyone else. Well, we need to stop doing that. Trump was taking us away from all of that, and then Biden putting us back into it. Now, if you don't have a problem with world government and how we're moving towards international government, then you may need to really understand what that means. That's Revelation 13. Okay, we lose all sovereignty. That's what that means. We lose all sovereignty. They're going to be able to tell you. Let's look at the next video. All right, check out the next video.
So let's have a digital health certificate acknowledged by WHO if you have been vaccinated or tested properly, then you can move around. So for the next pandemic, instead of stopping the movement of the people 100%, which clogged the economy globally, you can still provide some movement of the people. Indonesia has achieved, G20 country has agreed to have this digital certificate using WHO standard, and we will submit into the next World Health Assembly in Geneva as the revision to international health regulation. So hopefully for the next pandemic, we can still see some movement of the people, some movement of the goods, and movement of the economy.
So as I was saying before, they're going to be able to dictate and tell you how you need to be conducting yourself in the next pandemic. They're talking about the next pandemic. So, it was called the plandemic. Yeah. So they already saying that there's going to be another pandemic. You're going to have a digital health certificate. It's going to be digital, which means everyone will have access across the world. So, it's like going back to slavery. You get caught walking around where you shouldn't be, you got to show your papers. You want to access this road, why are you out? It's like a truancy officer. I mean, we going like, man, I would love to hear you. What are your thoughts? A digital health certificate during a pandemic. Why are you out walking around? You shouldn't. Where are your papers? Where are you're going to have to show your papers, right? World access. It doesn't matter where you are. It's international. It's global. Everyone has access to your medical records. Have you gotten the vaccine or have you not gotten I'm going to call it a shot because it's not a vaccine. A vaccine is supposed to prevent you from getting a thing. Like the measles, chicken pox, the mumps. When you get vaccinated, you don't get them. Yeah. But it seems like everyone that gets the flu shot, or you get this corona shot, then you still get it. It's like you get it 2, 3, you get it back to back to back, right? Like the president did. Okay, so it's do as we say. It's do as we say because we want to take away the freedoms of the sovereign nations and all of the citizens. That's where we're moving to. So if you haven't heard this before, just Google it. Look it up. Look and see what they're talking about. Let's play the last
So
video.
this level of power would go internationally to the UN. And this is so important, Joni, because laws weren't passed during COVID. Businesses were shut down without a law being passed. It was just a statement from a politician. We're dealing with inflation today because people were told to stay home, and then we spent $6 trillion to pay people to stay home. This is absolute carnage that we're still dealing with 3 years into this. Now, imagine, as bad as it was here in the United States, imagine giving this level of power to the Director General at the UN. This would be absolutely terrible. So, all the people listening today, you can talk to your officials in your country. You can tell them, do not give up sovereignty over healthcare to the World Health Organization. I don't consent to that. I want to keep sovereignty here in my own country. And then pray, fast, pray. We've got 2 months. It's the last week
So
of
the
May.
UN wants all power. And why do I say they all power? Because the top 3 international organizations, the top 3, like the strongest, like the UN is the most powerful, it is the largest organization in the world. Okay? It is very powerful. Well, the top 3, the United Nations, and then you have UNICEF. Yes. We all grew up contributing to UNICEF. It was in the schools. You know, your parents would send you money, send you with money to school so you can donate to UNICEF. We would bring UNICEF boxes home. They put money in. Well, UNICEF is still a thing. It is the second largest world organization. UNICEF. You know who UNICEF is? UNICEF is the United Nations. UNICEF is the United Nations, number 2. And who is number 3? Number 3 is the WHO, the World Health Organization. Yes, it is a body of the United Nations, the World Health Organization. The United Nations was formed in 1945 after the war. They took over from the League of Nations because they're designed to prevent war, peacekeeping. The League of Nations failed, and after World War II, they replaced the League of Nations with the United Nations, and the United Nations is still here. Now, will the United Nations be around after the Third World War? I don't know, because they too will have failed because we go into a world war yet once again. World War III. It is coming. We know this because the Bible tells us. But then what's the next body? Will they just rename the United Nations? Will they keep the United Nations? Whoever it is going to establish what all of the countries now that are coming together that wants global uniformity is just going to form it, because the nation states are the ones that formed the United Nations, and the United States was the front runner in getting the United Nations established. Yes, they were. So now what does this do with us as a nation and taking away our sovereignty? Well, we have to look at the 10th Amendment. You have to look at the 10th Amendment. Look up the 10th Amendment so you can understand what it does. Now, the 10th Amendment is supposed to bring a balance of power from the government to the states. So anything that is not within, Congress or in the Constitution, that's delegated to the government, then the states are the ones who makes the decisions about what's going on. But if the who gets that power given to them by the Biden administration or whoever, president, whatever president, if it happens, not saying that it is happening, but they are talking about it, then how does that affect the Constitution? Do they override the states? Because it becomes a treaty. Now, I'm not that big on politics. I understand just enough to, keep up in the conversation. But I really would like to hear your thoughts. These are the headlines. This is what's going on. We are still moving toward one world government. It's going to happen because it is written.